Fogs on the heavy seas. It has time and time again proven to be a danger for ships, causing many incidents but also many sinkings. For example, the Canadian Pacific liner, the Empress of Ireland, and also later in the future, the sinking of the SS Andrea Doria. But there's also been an incident which included fog with two White Star liners, two White Star vessels, the SS Celtic and the SS Britannic collision. And we, in this video, are gonna take a look at it. So let's first take a look at the Celtic. And sadly, there aren't many pictures of her, so I will show some pictures of the Oceanic class so you can get an idea of how they were. So the Celtic, like I said, was one of the new group of ships of the Oceanic class. She was also the sister ship of the ill-fated SS Atlantic. Now with this group of vessels, they had each of them one funnel. So not the quickest vessel, but she also of course still had her sails. And like many vessels of the White Star Line, the Celtic as well as the Britannic, which we will take a look at later, would be built by the famous Hollinger Wolf in Belfast. So let's cover some specifics of the Celtic. Her tonnage was 3,867 gross registered tons. Her length was 437.2 feet. Beam of 40.9 feet. And speed 14 knots. Now the fine vintage vessel would be launched on 18 June 1872, with her maiden voyage being on 24 October 1872. Now in her further life, beside the collision, she wouldn't have had many incidents. One small thing to mention only is that she once lost her propeller blades after she hit some floating wreckage. But other than that, there weren't major incidents with the Celtic. Now we all know the SS Britannic. She was the first to carry the name Britannic of the White Star Line fleet. Now the Britannic was a single screw passenger steamship equipped with sails, built of course again for the White Star Line North Atlantic run. She would have had a sister ship, the Germanic, and the Britannic sailed for nearly 30 years, primarily carrying immigrant passengers on the highly trafficked Liverpool-New York route. Now, this vessel, she would have had something special. She would have had a second funnel. Mind blown, no, just joking. But let's cover some specifics of the vessel. So her tonnage would be 5004. Now her length would have been 468 feet and she would have had a depth of 45 feet with a speed of 16 knots. Now this fine vessel would be launched on 3 February 1874 and her maiden voyage would be on 25 June 1874 from Liverpool to New York. Now the Britannic, she would have had some incidents in her career. On 8 March 1876 a fire was developed on board in one of her forward holds while she was under repair at Belfast. But luckily the fire was extinguished and the ship was only slightly damaged. Now on 26 October 1878 she actually ran down and sank a tug, Willie, at Wempick, Middlesex. On 31 March 1881 she collided and again sank the schooner Julia near Belfast. Now on 4 July 1881, Britannic had yet another mishap when she ran aground, but luckily again there wasn't too much damage. The passengers were carried off by lifeboat and safely landed at Wexford. So it's safe to say that the Britannic had a little bit more of an eventful life than the Celtic. Now on 19 May 1887, at about 5:25 p.m, the White Star liner, the Celtic, collided with Britannic in thick fog, about 350 miles east of Sandy Hook, New Jersey. Now the Celtic had 870 passengers on board, and she was steaming westbound for New York City. Meanwhile, the Britannic had 450 passengers on board and was on the second day of her eastward journey to Liverpool. The two ships collided at utmost right angles, with Celtic burying her prow 10 feet in the aft port side of Britannic. Celtic rebounded and hit 2 more times before sliding past the Britannic. Now, sadly, on board the Britannic there was some death. 6 steerage passengers would die on the Britannic, and other 6 were later found to be missing, having been washed overboard. Luckily, on the smaller vessel, the Celtic, there was no death. Of the two, the Britannic would be the one who had the most damage. As we can clearly see, imagine such a bow like the Celtic. I mean, she has a pretty thick bow, and if you ram into the side of the ship, I will show you a picture of the bow of the Celtic after the collision. It makes me think about the Hawk collision with the RMS Olympic. It kind of has the same effect, so the damage was huge. So the Britannic having had a large hole below her waterline. Now on board the Britannic, of course, fearing that the vessel would sink, the passengers and crew panic would commence. Now the Britannic's captain, Hugh Hamilton Peary, would grab his pistol and start waving around with it. That is something, in my opinion, you should never do. I mean, you already have panic and then you're gonna start waving around your pistol. I wouldn't do that, but at the end, order was restored in some order, and the boats would have been filled with women and children, although a few men forced their way on board. After the lifeboats had been launched, it was then realized that the Britannic would luckily stay afloat, and the lifeboats within hauling distance were recalled. Now, at the end, the two ships remained together through the night, and the next morning were joined by Wilson Line's Marengo and British Queen of the Inman Line, and the four slowly made their way to New York Harbor, with the Britannic being repaired at New York and was out of service for nearly a month. Now, and that is the end of it. I believe this was a case of huge luck. I mean, it could have ended very differently, with maybe even the Britannic sinking. So, luckily that didn't happen, but sadly 6 passengers lost their lives, so let their souls rest in peace. And that is yet again the end of another video. Like I said, this has been a huge case of luck. And like I said earlier again, it could have ended very differently. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I quickly want to take a moment and thank all my new subscribers who have subscribed to my channel, listening to me rambling and raveling. It really means a lot. And sometimes when I look at the comments, a new one pops up with some amazing text and messages. So it really means a lot, all those nice comments. And it also means a lot that people are watching me rebelling and rave. We are trying now to reach the 500 subscribers, and I know we can do it together. So if you have friends who like ocean liners, ships, please show them my channel. Again, trying to reach the 500 mark, and again, we can do that together. Leave in the comments what you thought of this video, and also leave in the comments what shipwreck I should maybe do next. And also leave your thoughts in the comments, because I really like reading them. So with that out of the way, guys, have a good night or day wherever you are, and we will see each other on the next video. Goodbye.